try to understand why the clouds and the atmosphere is stuck or glued or fixed to the earth in a rotation around the axis of the earth. It's a very complicated issue because you assume that if the earth spins from the west to east, the atmosphere is supposed to spin the opposite direction because it is gas. It is not a solid medium. You run into a problem is that the earth is not a cylinder. The earth is a sphere. So if you have the air at the equator flowing from east to west against the rotation of the earth, when you go north or south, you are going to have a different situation because the diameter of the earth changes from the equator to the north pole. At the north pole, the diameter of the cross section is 0. At the equator, the cross section is almost 12,000 miles in diameter. So the question now is that how do you explain that the clouds are so static? The earth, here where I am, the earth, we are at latitude about 40. That's five latitudes from the middle of the north hemisphere. So the speed of Earth here, or the speed of rotation of Earth, is about 730 miles per hour. The speed of sound is 776 miles per hour. So we are very close to the speed of sound. So why we don't see the air supposed to be, the atmosphere is supposed to be rotating in the opposite direction from east to west at that speed? But it's not. If you look at the clouds, they are very fixed, very still. Let us try to understand that from physics. When you study physics, you know that the molecular volume of the gases has about 22 liters in volume. And that volume, you have Avogadro's number, which is 10 to the power 23 multiplied by 6 something. That's about trillion molecules in a mole of gas. So you are talking about enormous numbers you cannot imagine. So you simplify the problem by taking a unit volume in the medium of gas. And that unit volume, we assume the molecule or any molecule any particle in that unit volume of the gas is going to be knocking in 3 directions, X, Y, and Z. In each direction is going to be knocking both walls. So you multiply the energy by 2 in every direction, you get about 6 times the velocity square of the molecule times the mass of the molecule. That gives you the kinetic energy of the molecule in the unit volume. From there you can follow the logic of Boltzmann. To get the kinetic energy, you get the Boltzmann constant times times the absolute temperature times some constants. It gives you the kinetic energy of the molecule of gas. It is simplified in the 3 directions. So the molecule will be of air will be knocking right and left, and the front and the back, and up and down. Those are 6 directions. You can call them 3 directions, and in each direction you have a reverse motion. In one direction, say the X direction is a horizontal direction, the molecule will have no gravity, going right and left. In the Z direction, which is a vertical, there is gravity. In the Y direction, there is no gravity. Another way, A molecule of air cannot distinguish in the two horizontal directions, y and z, whether it's going east to west or south to north, because there is no gravity. But when it goes up and down, there is gravity. The lower layers of the air are denser, and the higher layers are thinner or lighter. You have an exponential law because you're putting one layer in the bottom and you have too many layers at the top. When you keep going up, the number of layers will decrease, so the pressure, the atmospheric pressure is exponential when you start from the ground up, until you get to about 10 miles where there is no air after that. You have about 5 layers of atmosphere from the ground to the outer space. Where the aeroplanes fly, the lower layer, which is about 10 miles, you can calculate the elevation by the exponential law of pressure, atmospheric pressure. So why is the molecule of air sticks on a certain part of the earth and rotates with the earth, and it doesn't act like a free fluid that when the earth spins in one direction, the air is supposed to spin in the opposite direction? Imagine you have a watermelon and you spray water on it and you try to spin it. The water on the surface of the watermelon is going to spin in the opposite direction of the spinning of the watermelon. But what you see here is not. You see the atmosphere is attached, fixed to the earth. That piece of cloud above you, it is sitting above you unless there is wind that will push it away from you. About an hour ago, the skies were clear. There was no clouds. Where did the clouds come from? Condensation from higher elevations. You can say the clouds are very slow moving. You can watch very carefully. The velocity is very small. You can say, well, you are too far from them. If you put a telescope on them, you can see there is some movement, but not a lot. But they are not moving at the speed of sound. So why is the atmosphere is stuck, fixed on each part of the earth? My humble explanation is that when the molecule moves on the x direction, which is horizontal from side to side, there is no difference, there is no preference, because there is no gravity. So the molecule will not know the difference between the x direction and the horizontal, or in the y direction, east to west or south to north. But the molecule will have a preference when it oscillates from up to down. It cannot go way up because there is the gravity would pull it down. It cannot go deep down because the lower layers are dense. But not very perfect balance. So the vertical direction of energy of molecules of the air are not balanced. You can say with absolute confidence that a molecule of air will have preference in the vertical direction depending on the temperature and the location, the gravity of that location. But that molecule will have no preference at all in the two horizontal directions, the east to west and south to north. So how does that make the molecule of air attached to part of the land, of the earth, fixed to it? The only explanation I have, I'm not writing equations now to verify the solution, is that if the molecule is oscillating vertically on a certain location, it would be easier for the molecule to stay in that location than to move to the next location in any direction horizontally, because if it moves, the resistance either going to increase or decrease, depend on the elevation and the temperature of that point on the earth. Because the earth is not flat, it is spherical. You use spherical harmonics to make a net or a mesh on the surface of the sphere if you wanted to know the difference between one unit on the sphere next to the other unit. But to simplify the issue, you can say the molecule of air will prefer to stay at certain location on the earth where the vertical change of energy, the knocking up and the knocking down, and that whatever balance it is will stay constant at that location. Because for a molecule of air to move from one location to another according to Newton's second law of acceleration, there have to be change of momentum. The mass times the acceleration. But the change of momentum is the difference, the mass times the velocity minus in one location minus the mass times the velocity in another location divided by the time. It will give you the acceleration. So, in other way, the molecule of air would rather be in one spot on Earth to have the zero change of momentum rather than to move south or north, east or west. That is so far only thing I can come up with to answer the question is why the atmosphere is spinning at the rotation of the Earth as if it is glued to it with some fixers.